What is up? Is it working? Let me pull Kara up in here. How's it going, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, hey, welcome to Getting Past the Gatekeeper podcast with your host, your one and only Tim Madden. That is me and Kara Dennison. And hey, each week we want to share tactics and strategies live right now every Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern. So maybe you're watching the Facebook group, maybe you're watching on YouTube. If so, we're actually very glad you're here because, hey, we want to give you tips and tricks to help you navigate this current job market and land your dream job. So, Kara, introduce yourself since this is episode 1.
Woohoo! We are so pumped. If you don't know us, man, we are super glad that you are here. I am Kara Dennison. I come from a corporate recruiting background, and we have partnered together. I have over tons of years. I've reviewed 150,000 resumes in my career. We like to help high-achieving professionals achieve their dream job. And together, Tim and I have been responsible for over $7 million in salary increases last year alone. That's nuts. Tim, who are you? Tell us a little bit about
my name is Tim Madden, and I'm a little shorter. Kara's like, I need to
I'm like way up
stand
there.
up. Here we go. So, hey, my name's Tim Madden, and for the past decade, I've been a seasoned headhunter. So I've worked at the largest Fortune 500 company in the world. I've owned my own firm, and I've overseen probably 5,000 placements, directors, VPs, finding out every single way this process goes wrong and how to make it easy for you. And after we did a poll inside of our group, the poll said today you wanted to talk about, hey, man, how do I get headhunters like I used to be? Right? How do we get headhunters and decision makers to find you easily so you're not doing what? You're applying for jobs online, which is the worst possible way to find a job. And I know we got other talent acquisition people in here, so we might get some heat for this. Number one, I will say, hey, there's nothing wrong with applying for a job. Nothing wrong with that. But there are better methods, okay? Kara's going to go into, a couple things about applying for jobs, and then we'll give you some tips and strategies. And hey, if you don't know, I'm going to put in the link. If you need help in your job search, or maybe you want to be aware of current trends in the marketplace, we're actually holding some training next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to drop the link in the comments. Hey, if you want to register, come with your questions. We're going to show you some cool stuff to accelerate your search. So, Kara, why is applying for a job online like the worst possible thing? Not the worst. One of the worst things you can do. Walk people through this before we get into our topic today.
So applying to job boards online. Oh, like Tim said, there's like nothing wrong with applying to jobs online. But if that's your only strategy, man, you are fighting an uphill battle. Here's the reason why. There's like only a 2% chance of landing an interview if you're only relying on job boards. It's nuts. Let's break it down for just a quick second. If you're a director, a VP, and an executive going to just job boards, here's what's happening. You're not just competing for people for your job in your area. What's happening is that you're competing against people across the whole nation. Because think about it. If you're targeting 6-figure jobs, what's another 5 to 10K to relocate the best possible candidate? So hiring managers are really going to be searching for the best possible person out there. So what happens? This is exactly what happens when you apply online with your resume to a job board. It gets funneled right to an applicant tracking system, which scans your resume for keywords. And there's not one applicant tracking system out there. There's millions out there. So even if you are spending all of your time tweaking your resume for that job posting out there, we don't know if it's going to be scanned appropriately for the way you've tweaked it. And most of the time, the job description has been written by someone in HR, not by the hiring manager, because they're too busy and they're just said, let's get something up there because we need to start getting candidates in. And most of the time, we're finding that our clients, when they go into the interview, the person that they're looking for, the hiring manager, it has nothing to do with the job description themselves. So like I said, you're fighting an uphill battle. And another thing, actual opportunities are posted on job boards. So you're missing out on 80% of actual jobs that are gotten through networking, according to our poll in the group. So like I said, nothing wrong with applying to jobs on job boards, but you're totally missing out on a big chunk of opportunity if that's your only strategy. But the good news is, listening to this podcast or you're watching this live right now, because we're going to tell you exactly how to make sure decision makers, recruiters, and headhunters can get a hold of you and see you right now. So
easily. And back to, hey, before we get into that, a CFO, I don't remember. Oh yeah, Jason, last December 2019, he was working with us. He drove 3 hours to an in-person interview after being vetted by a headhunter just to find out he did not meet one of the criteria. He drove 3 hours. How mad would you be driving 3 hours to meet with the CEO, speaking with him for 2 hours, figuring out you don't have that vital tax law, whatever, and then having to drive back 3 hours? Like, man,
I'd be pretty pissed. I'm not gonna lie.
And if you haven't noticed right now, there's 40 million people unemployed.
Yeah.
And what do you think they're all doing? Applying to jobs online. These things are getting flooded with people.
Because that's what they tell you, right? Go apply online. Go apply online. So that's what 40 million people are doing right now. It's nuts.
So how do you avoid this, right? So some of the most successful headhunters I've ever met, right? Some of the most successful recruiters I've ever met at Amazon, Google, my friends over there, right, said they find their candidates mainly on LinkedIn. And once we get to 1,000 members, I've already twisted a guy's arm, one of the most successful headhunters I know of, and he's going to come in here live as soon as we hit 1,000 members. So, hey, if you know someone who'd be valuable to this group, right, invite them. But let's get into our topic for the day. So, hey, how do headhunters and decision makers, how can you make it so they find you easily? So we're talking about LinkedIn right now, okay? Phenomenal tool. By the way, I think we've generated, me and Kara were just having this conversation yesterday, I think we generated like 2,000 interviews / high quality networking conversations for our client this year. And guess what? It's all been on LinkedIn. But you need to make it easy for people. And how do you do that? Okay. On LinkedIn, okay, think about this. How are you branding yourself right now? How are you branding yourself? If you go to the store, if you go to Foot Locker, right, and you're looking for a blue Nike, and someone brings you, you're like, hey, hey, Foot Locker associate, I'm looking for some blue Nike running shoes, and they bring you some green Adidas basketball shoes, you're probably going to be like, hey, what the hell is this? Most people do not brand themselves accordingly for the positions that they're targeting. And let me go into a couple things. One is on your profile, okay, before we talk about connecting, just easier for people to find you, they need to know a clear representation of what you do, the value you provided, the scope of work. So many times when I was a headhunter, and even now, I see people that talk about leading teams, but I don't know if it was a team of 2 or a team of 1,000. Mm-hmm. I manage budgets, 1 million or 100 million. How have you been successful managing that team, leading that team? Your accomplishments, your successes, what processes have you implemented to, produce X result? These are things that people want to know. Otherwise, they're not going to talk to you, okay? When you do ding in their keyword search, they're not going to reach out to you. Make it easier for people, okay? Make it easier. And if you're targeting VPs of sales roles, you need to highlight your sales statistics, your stats, which is, by the way, the only thing that sets you apart in the marketplace. It's not where you work. It's not how long you work. It's not your degree. It's not this. It's how successful have you been? So take a step back and look at your profile and say, is this a clear representation of how successful I've been throughout my whole, experience in this whole career game, okay? And does it highlight my accomplishments and successes like it should? Kara, talk about being a jack of all trades.
Yeah, so here's the reason why accomplishments and successes are so critical. And I'll talk about the jack of all trades in just a second. It's because at the end of the day, hiring managers and recruiters, what they want is to see how you can provide value to their team. And they're going to see that by how you provided value to your past teams or the teams that you've led. And a lot of times we've done almost 1,000 resumes in the last year and a half together, which is crazy. Most of the time, even at the executive level, a lot of these bullet points that we're seeing are responsibility based, which doesn't show your value. So we got to make sure that when people are looking at your LinkedIn profile, you are showcasing the value you can bring. Also, jack of all trades. Oh my gosh, all the time we're talking to people who are, which is great. You guys are super skilled. You could probably go into multiple different roles. We see salespeople who can go into business development and marketing and all of these other different things, which is awesome. The problem is that confused people move on very quickly. For instance, think about when you go and do a Google search, right? If you type in something in Google, if what you're looking for is the results that come up are very confusing, what are you going to do next? You're going to go back up to that search bar and type in something else to make sure that you're getting clear results, right?
How quickly are you going to do that too, Kara?
Huh?
How quickly are you going to do that? If you do a Google search and the right stuff doesn't pop up, you're going to do it immediately.
Exactly. So here's what happens. A recruiter and a headhunter, here's how long a recruiter spends on your resume. Or Tim, how long do you think?
Like they say 6 seconds. I think it's like less than that.
Exactly.
Really.
On average, a recruiter will spend 6 seconds on your resume. Maybe a hiring manager, by the time they get it in their hands, they'll spend between 10 to 15 seconds. So you literally have almost an instant to get across your value in seconds. So if it's confusing and you're trying to say that you can do business development and marketing and sales and all this other stuff, it's going to be super confusing as to what you're a leader in. So first things first, you got to niche down and you got to focus your message. So if you are a sales leader, a marketing leader, a biz dev leader, or whatever your specialty is, focus on that specialty and make it very, very crystal clear in your LinkedIn profile and in your resume so that you can get that across and get your value across, because people want to hire people who are great at what they do. If you're a jack of all trades, you're a master in none.
And let's talk about this jack of all trades thing, okay? Some people are doing career pivots, but not doing a big career pivot. Here's what I mean by that. Hey, I've been a VP of sales in the retail market, right? But now I want to be a VP of sales. You know what, Kara Dennison? I really want to be in the technology space. So while it's still good to highlight all your accomplishments, think about it. How am I branding myself? Do I want to talk about, we change resumes all the time, right? His resume says retail 20 times. What do you think someone's going to look at when they see this? They're going to be like, hey, this guy's been successful, but he's been in retail. So sometimes just changing those words to say something like locations or etc. helps you a lot. So just think like, am I branding myself relative, right, to what's important? Okay, is retail important when you're talking about tech? No. Okay, so a couple more things. Most profiles, most resumes too, they have these long paragraphs at the top talking about, I'm an exceptional leader, I'm enthusiastic, I have charisma. Yeah, someone's gonna hire me. Guys, come on, man. What do people care about? Results. So at the top of your profile in the about section, at the top of your resume, what do you need to have? If you're in operations, right, you're an ops guy, here's probably what I have. I probably have, number one, the teams I've led and the regions I led and how I've done it successfully. Number two, how have I saved the company money? Hey, I implemented this, and no big deal. I saved $10 million a year for 3 years. You know, not a big deal.
If you
probably want to highlight that stuff. The other thing, increase efficiency. How have you increased efficiency? What impact did that have? I tell you, if someone's looking at my stuff for 6 seconds, what do you want to have? This paragraph with just a bunch of words, or like, hey, what's important to an ops guy? Probably these 5 things. Hey, why don't I highlight them and talk about how I've done it successfully throughout my career?
If you take one minor tip away from this in regards to your resume and your LinkedIn, get away from the paragraphs. People are only spending 6 seconds on your resume and your LinkedIn. Just take that content in there, make it results oriented, make it super impactful, put it in bullet point format, get away from paragraphs. No one reads paragraphs anymore. Not at all. So for sure.
So after we optimize your profile, right? Or after you optimize your profile, and by the way, anyone who's like not good at writing about themselves, which is like 98% of people, I literally can't even write about myself. I write resumes all the time. Okay. If you're having, if you're like, man, I need to update this, but I don't even know where to start. We have some templates for you, comment below and say, hey, Tim and Kara, send me those templates. We actually have some really good stuff. Or if you just want to say, dude, I don't even have time to write this. I'm a busy director and I lead a team of 500. We can take care of you too. Just get a hold of us. The other thing is, once it's optimized, magical things happen. You're going to show up in more keyword searches. You're going to show up, and we'll talk about job boards and stuff later in a little bit. But when it's optimized, right, more people are going to start reaching out to you, and they're going to have more of a clear representation of what you've done and how you've been successful. And it's going to make it not only easier for people to find you and get a hold of you, it's going to make it tremendously easier when you get to that interview, because then you don't have to talk about how great you are. How great you are is already highlighted. It makes these interviews go tremendously different. When it's optimized, let's talk about some cool stuff we do with our clients. LinkedIn content, man, so important. So important. How many people are on LinkedIn, Kara, by the way?
Oh, I don't know, 575 million people.
Do you think any of those people hire people?
Yeah, a lot of them.
Yeah. How many people actually post on LinkedIn a day of that 575 million, Kara?
You would be shocked. Only 3 million people post content. That's a small amount of people. But you want to know what?
Yeah, but I don't know what to post about, Kara. My profile's optimized. What do I post about so I can separate myself from the crowd who isn't posting and really like build a brand for myself and be like a leader in my industry? What do I post about? I'm in sales, but like, what do I want to talk about?
Mm-hmm. There are so many things that you can post about with LinkedIn content. And here's kind of how we tell our clients to have a LinkedIn content strategy. Post about anything that's related to your industry, what you do as an industry leader, and make sure that you are consistent. Those are my top tips for LinkedIn content strategy. If you're consistent, make sure that you are just consistent with your content. You can find articles that relate to what's going on in your industry, post them on in a post, write your opinion and start asking questions to your network so that you are making engaging conversations on those posts. What's going to happen is that when you're doing that, and you can even write long form articles, write your own posts without articles that you're sharing, things like that, pictures, all of these things that relate to what you do in your career and in your industry. Why you want to do this is because you start becoming seen as an industry leader, which is awesome. But the more you do it, the more you start showing up in your network. And what's great is the more that people start interacting with your posts, commenting, sharing, liking, and all of those other interaction emojis or whatever they are, is that it gets blasted to their network as well. For instance, if Tim and I are connected and I make a post and he likes it, it then gets shared to his network. And if he has 10,000 contacts, all of a sudden my stuff gets shown to his stuff as well. And what's really, really awesome, Tim, I know you love to tell the story, so I won't take your thunder, but what's really great—
I wrote it down. I've literally I forgot about him.
This is a phenomenal tool that you can implement, and it doesn't take a lot of time every day, and it is going to boost your network, boost your credibility, and possibly get you a job. Tim, take it away. You got to tell the story.
So back to, but I still don't know what to post. Before we talk about how great it is, Tim, but I'm in sales. Man, what do I need to post about? Hey, what's a challenge you've dealt with? How did you overcome it? What do you train people on if you're a VP of sales? Follow-up, sales process. Hey guys, here's what I found to be successful. Here's where I found most people struggle. Here's where this. Just write down whatever you want. And then here's what's going to happen next. You're going to post something. And oh man, no one's going to like it, Kara. What if no one likes it? What if no one comments? Guys, trust me, even if no one comments on it, how many connections do you have? If one person likes it, it could still get in front of 10, 20, 30,000 people. And the thunder, man. We had this guy last December too. December was a good month. Last December, there was a guy who made a post about changes in technology. And to be honest with you, it wasn't the greatest post, but hey, man, put it out there. You'll get better later. He made a post about changes in technology. A couple people from our program that we run liked it. And oh yeah, who reached out to him, Kara, talking about how great his post was?
A CEO and
CEO. who on a Wednesday said, hey, man, I loved your post on changes in technology. You're just the CTO I need. I want to meet with you Friday and skip the whole hiring process.
What?
Come in and meet the team. And by the way, since he's confidential, right? He got a job offer for over 200K. He got like stocks, 6 weeks vacation, a sign-on bonus for a LinkedIn post. So if you're not posting on LinkedIn, and by the way, back to the headhunters and the recruiters at Amazon that I'm friends with, etc., they love when people comment because they know that they're trying to show the market value and their skills value. So if you're not doing that and you're currently in another career search right now, guys, like something's not right up here, okay?
And speaking of posting on LinkedIn, here is one other tip that you gotta take away right now. So write this down. Your headline on LinkedIn, most people have a headline that says your most recent title at your most recent company. The reason why LinkedIn does this is that if you ever updated your most recent experience on LinkedIn, it has this little tiny check mark that says update headline. And every time you update you get a new job or you update your most recent experience, it will force your headline to change to your most recent title at your most recent company. The problem with this and why this is going to work to your advantage is that everyone has this formula for a headline. So what you need to do is make sure that you customize your headline. It's really easy to do in your LinkedIn to be something that's super engaging. Like if you want an award because you're awesome at sales, award-winning VP of sales that's focused on, and what kind of results do you bring? Focused on driving revenue and leading high-performing teams. And here's the reason why. As you're now posting all of this LinkedIn content that shows all of the challenges that you face and all of the struggles and how you've overcome them and how you're a rock star and what's going on in your industry and your opinion on it and your engaging and all of this other stuff. The only thing that people and your headhunters, decision makers, and all these other people to see from your profile in their feed is your picture, which is professional, which we won't even get into, and your headline. So you want to make sure that headline is powerful, engaging, and hooks people enough to click on your profile, which then, like I said before, is filled with all of your awesome value achievement results. So that's how all of it comes together.
So we come from more of the business side, right? We're trying to find new clients, etc. And me and Kara, our headlines say we help our clients land six-figure jobs, because that's what we do, right? So every time someone sees a picture of ourselves or something we post, every time we post something, what are they seeing? Our picture, okay? What else are they seeing? I help my clients find six-figure jobs. Literally every time we post anything, it's saying that. You need to be omnipresent in 2020. If not, posting one time, saying something one time, you're not going to be successful at doing it. Okay, so that title is so important. Hey, you're having troubles with your titles? You're like, yeah, Tim, but I'm in tech, but I'm in finance, but I'm in real estate. Hey, post in the comments. We would love to help you out. Next topic, right, is, yeah, Tim, all this sounds great. This sounds great. I want to, I'd love for you to help me, guys. I'd love to use your templates, but hey, I don't want to update anything because I'm scared what my boss might think. He thinks I'm probably going to leave if I update it, right? Hey, why'd you update your LinkedIn profile? Are you looking for another job? Here's how to handle this. Just a free tip for you, okay? Maybe you're client facing. Maybe you lead a team. Here's what we've told our clients, okay? If that happens, if someone comes to you and say, hey, I noticed you updated your LinkedIn profile recently. If you're client facing, I would say this, hey, you know what I realized, John? Or decision maker, boss, whatever, is hey, clients view me on LinkedIn. They're doing business with us. I didn't even have any data. And by the way, this is a $10 million account. I'm not branding myself good enough for the company, showing me that I'm the professional that should be taking care of their account, managing their team, increasing their processes, or whatever it may be. Or if you're not client facing, but maybe you lead a team, hey, John, decision maker, hey, I'm kind of embarrassed because I keep having my teams on LinkedIn, they're connecting with me, and it doesn't show how I've been successful whatsoever. So I'm actually kind of embarrassed. So I thought it'd be important to put my team, blah, 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 right? All of these things. Mm-hmm. And you know what? If you bring it up that way and you say it sincere, he's probably gonna be like, dude, who updated your stuff, man? I need to get mine updated, right? So that is just one way that you can handle that. Okay, Kara, talk about what to do. What do we have our clients do right after we build them a results-driven, achievement-based resume in relation to the job boards?
Sure. So hopefully I'm a little not cutting out anymore. I pulled my mic a little bit closer. Sorry, guys. So here's a really cool job board tip that we try and tell our clients. So I'm sorry if I'm echoey, guys.
You're good. You're good.
So what we tell people, and this is a really great tip if you guys do want to use the job boards, which again, nothing wrong. What we recommend doing, go onto the job boards and create a profile. Great ones are Indeed, Career Builder, Monster, and Glassdoor.
Dice if you're a tech guy, maybe ladders if you're that executive.
Absolutely. There's a whole list of them out there. They're pretty easy to find. But anyways, go ahead and create a profile, upload your resume to there, fill out all the sections and things like that. And what you can do is log in once a week. Now, some job boards require you to make a tweak to your profile and some require you just to log in. So what I recommend, just go in, make a small tweak to your application, and you could do that by just adding a space here or there or a period or whatever to one section and hit save. The reason being is that recruiters and headhunters who are searching for candidates on those job boards, they have a filter to search for candidates who have logged on or who have updated their profile in the last 7 days. So you're going to start showing up in way more searches, and they're going to start coming directly to you just by doing that small minor login and change once a week. So just set a reminder on your phone, do that, and they're going to start coming to you. Now, here's something that does happen. Sometimes recruiters and headhunters, they're going to start sending you messages. You're going to be a VP of sales. I don't know why we keep using that example, but here we are. You're going to be a VP of sales, and they're going to say, hey, we have this role for a customer service rep. Are you interested? And you're going to be like, what the heck is even happening? I'm not even qualified for that job. What are they doing? But what we like to say is when they're reaching out to you, you now have their email address. You now have the fact that you know what companies are hiring. This is a great way to start building that relationship with those people. Just email them back and say, hey, that's not a great fit, but what other opportunities are you working on, right? So this is another way to get people to come to you. And it doesn't take a lot of time. So
man, I'm glad you brought that up too, because we had a recent client, well, not too recent, Steven, it's probably a year ago. I still remember the story because it was amazing. He got contacted for an opportunity by a recruiter. He was going to move to like the second round or something. And she called him and said, Steven, we're sorry. They actually just hired someone for this role. Like, how mad would you be first off, right? Normally you'd like throw your phone. This is BS. Recruiters suck, etc. But you always need to think like, where's the opportunity? Because here's what Steven did and here's what we teach people. Where's the opportunity? Okay. Oh, by the way, we run a coaching program, obviously. And he said, hey, that's okay, Miss Recruiter, but I have a question. What other roles are you working on right now that you think I'd be a good fit for? Wouldn't you know, she said, wow, they were about to hang up the phone. I'm glad you asked. We actually have a more senior level role, and I think you would be perfect for it. And by the way, he made another 70 grand on his salary just by asking that one simple question. So always think where the opportunity is. Back to job boards real quick. If you're the last one to update your resume, you're always going to come to the top of the list. So me and Kara are not a huge fan of job boards, but we are a huge fan of making sure your information is updated and making sure it's visible so people can find you with hardly any work. So if you're not doing this, I highly, highly encourage you to do that. So Kara, after this is done, it should be easier. More people can find them. They're putting in content. They're doing the job boards. They're providing more traction to them. Let people know what we're going to close up with of the most beneficial tip when their stuff is optimized and it's a clear representation of, the value that they can bring to the next organization. What's the next step? Say I'm getting more eager into my search.
Absolutely. If you want to take it a step further, the best advice that we can give you is to go and contact them directly. It's pretty simple to do if you know exactly what job you're going for. is to go onto LinkedIn, search for the company, and find out who the decision maker and the recruiter is on the job or the company page. Once you do that, connect with them and send them a professional message. All you really have to do is just say, hey, I see that you're hiring for this position, if you know that they are hiring for this position, or hey, I see that you work at this company and I wanted to reach out as they're at the top of my list of great places to work. Tell them a little bit about yourself. Make it short because, again, people aren't going to read paragraphs, right? Make it short and impactful. Again, give them a little teaser of some result and value that you brought to your most recent company and ask them for a time to connect and get them on the phone. The best way to get decision makers and HR people and recruiters and headhunters to reach out to you is to reach out to them first, for sure.
Yeah. So two, what we found to be like most successful, right? And when you're trying to connect with other decision makers for opportunities, is just literally a connection note, just saying this simple phrase. Hey, John, I'm searching for my next opportunity and thought it would make sense to connect. Super light, right? I don't want anything from you. Hey, does it make sense to connect or not? And then just putting something short about yourself. For instance, hey, over the past 20 years, I've been a VP of sales, blah, 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 blah. I'm responsible for this revenue, led this team. Does it make sense? You've already basically reached out saying, so if they reach back out to you, right, then it does make sense. Then handle the phone call, handle the interview. But this is what we found to be most effective when trying to get connected with people who can hire you. So Kara, as we wrap up today, what did we miss? What did we miss? Did we miss anything?
I don't think so. I think we got everything. But listen, if you watch this replay and you got questions, definitely. Well, actually, I think we actually had a question earlier.
Yeah, we did. And while Kara's finding that question, right? Obviously, hey, we have a live event next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern where we're going to be showing you like the 5 most important things that clients that we worked with over the years, like the 5 most important things that they did to land them X result, right? Whatever their ideal situation is. So if you got questions about your career, if you're happy where you're at, you should definitely still attend. If you have a friend that is happy or not happy, share the link with them. It's in the comments. Or I think that's all the reasons. What was the question, Kara?
Awesome. So we got 2 questions when we posted earlier saying we were going live. Mm-hmm. When you are contacted by a decision maker, what is your most popular way of communicating? Are you more phone, email, or text? I think I know your answer, but Tim, what do you say?
If anyone contacts you on LinkedIn for an opportunity, stop messaging them and go immediately to a phone call. Nothing is going to happen over email. Nothing is going to happen over DMs. Tell me about your experience. Here's my experience. And this back and forth. Hey, I'm interested in speaking with you. Great. What time? Just go for the call. Okay.
As Tim always likes to say, whenever it comes to dating or anything like that, you never get married, you never get a date or anything like that over text message, right? It's always either in person or on a phone call. So that's where you build the most rapport, right? So absolutely try and drive them to a phone call. The next question, what steps did you take to set yourself apart from others in the market? I think we hit on that mostly, but is there any other?
So the biggest thing is, here's the thing. To set yourself apart. Let me put this right here. What steps do you set? Okay, I'm messing this up. Either way. So here's what I would say. The only thing that sets you apart is your accomplishments and results and your scope of work. And if you're not clearly articulating that, it's going to be very hard for you out there. Because if you haven't noticed, we've already stated, there's a lot of people unemployed. You have to be great. Being great at what you do is not the only standard you need, okay? You need to look good on paper because that initially gets them to actually look at your stuff to actually have that conversation. And if you can't articulate successes, accomplishments, how you've trained people, budgets you've led, all these different things at any level, whether you're making 50K or 500K, it's going to be very, very, very brutal for you, okay? The competition is probably the hardest it's ever been since, when did the collapse happen? 2007?
Yeah, 2007, 2008.
The last time it was the hardest to get a job was probably 2007. Okay. It is hard to get a job right now. You have to be great at what you do, branded well, interview well, know how to have a conversation about money, know how to lock down this process. And that's why we're coming live to you every Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern inside this on YouTube, etc. Maybe we'll throw it on iTunes and Spotify too, to give you advice you can trust with people who have been there, done that, and still continue to do that every single day. So anything you'd like to wrap up with, Kara?
We are so excited for the masterclass. We're so excited for you guys in the Facebook group and for you guys listening later on. And if you have questions, drop them below for those in the group. We will answer them when we come back to the replay. And thank you so much for listening, guys.
Take it easy.